Okay, so this is number 38 from the slow. This is 38 example, where we're writing this in exponential form. So if we look at letter A, it says, what is the square root of 36x to the 8th y divided by 2z to the 3rd r to the 4th? So first, what we're thinking about, when we say the square root of something, we're really saying what number times itself gives you that number. So if I said, what number times itself gives you 4? We will automatically say 2 times 2. If we say what number automatically gives us 9, we would say 3 times 3. So we're seeing what number times itself is going to give us that number. Well, another way to think about this square root has a power of 1 and it's 2 out here. And so what we're going to do for things that we can take the square root of that's simple, like whole numbers, we're going to take the square root of it if it gives us a whole number. And everything else, we're going to multiply by 1 over 2. And I can explain that later, but just believe me, that's how it is. Okay, so let's look at the first one. Can we take the square root of 36? So let's get our calculators. Second, square root. Some of y'all probably already know this. And see if we get a whole number. Yes, we get 6. So the square root of 36 is 6. Now, we can't really take the square root of x to the 8th. So what we're going to do, I'm going to come over here and do x to the 8th. And I'm going to multiply it times my 1/2. So if we put this in our calculators, so just so you can see it, and I'm not going to put it as an exponent, but x times parentheses 1 divided by 2, and we get 4. So maybe I should have put this somewhere else. Let me so instead of putting it here, I'm gonna put it over here because I'm breaking it down. So we got 6, and this becomes x to the 4th. So that's gonna come out here beside the 6. X to the 4. Now, what about this y? What is the exponent to the y? Well, there's nothing there, so it has to be a 1. So y to the 1 times 1/2. Well, guys, I'm not going to put this in my calculator. Anything times 1 is that other number. So that's y to the 1/2. Okay? Now we're going to come and do our bottom part. We're going to do 2. So can we take the square root of 2? Let's see. Second, square root 2. And we got a decimal. So I don't want that. So we're going to have to do 2 just like we did the letters. So it'll be 2. And what is the exponent with 2? If you don't see 1, it has to be a 1 times 1/2. And so that's going to give us the same thing. 2 and 1/2. Okay? Now, z, I'm just going to come over here. Z to the 3rd. So we're going to multiply it times that 1/2. So let me show you in my calculator. 3 times parentheses 1 divided by 2. And we get, and I don't want a decimal, so we hit math, enter, enter, 3 over 2. So that means my z would be 3 over 2. Okay, let's do our r. We have r to the 4th, and we're going to multiply it times our 1/2, and we'll get our calculator. 4 times parentheses 1 divided by 2, because that's what we had. Let you see it. And we get 2. So r to the 2nd. So basically, here is our simplified answer. Okay, I'm going to do letter B just to give y'all another example. If you want to go back and watch this part, just pause it and rewind it. Okay, so let me undo this so I can go to the next one. So they're going to work the same. All number 38s are going to work the same. Okay? So here's letter B. So as we know this is going to be a 2 here and a 1 there. So we're going to try to just take the square root of the number and see if it works. The square root of 100. Second, square root 100. A lot of y'all already know this. It's 10. So now we come out here and we do 6 times 1/2. And I'm just doing it here to kind of keep it neater. So 6 times parentheses 1 divided by 2, and we get x to the third. Okay? Now put my y here. We're going to do 5 times 1/2. So when I use my calculator, 5 times parentheses 1 divided by 2, and we get a decimal, so I'm going to hit math, enter, and I get 5/2 for my y. Okay? Now I'm going to the bottom. I'm going to try to take the square root of 5. Most of y'all already know what happens when I take the square root of 5. But if you didn't know, I get a decimal. So I can't do that. I'm going to leave 5 the way it is, and I'm going to do it 1/2 because it doesn't have anything here. So 5 and 1/2. Okay, so now we're going to do the z to the 8th times I 1/2. I'm going to use my calculator again. So we do 8. If I put 8 times parentheses 1 divided by 2, that's how we do our fractions, and we get 4. So z to the 4th. Okay, now r doesn't have anything, so that's easy. R to the 1/2. And so that will be our complete answer. So I want y'all to try C and D. So you can watch this video as many times as you would like.